The UN's role in the Israel-Palestine conflict and available conflict resolution options. Function of non-state entities. The United Nations put up a strategy to deal with the Palestine crisis following World War II. The UN enacted Resolution 181, which called for the end of the mandate and the division of Palestine into two sovereign states, one for Jews and one for Palestinian Arabs. The goal of internationalizing Jerusalem was to recognize its special value to many communities. Nevertheless, there were a lot of difficulties and conflicts with this plan. Following the 1967 Six-Day War, Israel seized control of the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem, which it later annexed. An estimated 500,000 Palestinians were forced to flee their homes during this battle. The UN adopted Security Council Resolution 242 in 1967 to address this issue and provided guidelines for establishing a fair and durable peace. It demanded the end of all belligerent nations, an Israeli departure from the areas it had occupied throughout the conflict, and a solution to the refugee crisis. Security Council Resolution 338, which called for peace talks between the parties concerned, was the outcome of the 1973 hostilities. The UN General Assembly then reaffirmed the Palestinian people's fundamental rights in 1974, including the right to self-determination, sovereignty, national independence, and return. Additionally, the Assembly created the Committee on the Exercise of the Inalienable Rights of the Palestinian People and gave the Palestine Liberation Organization PLO observer status at UN conferences and the General Assembly. The Madrid Peace Conference in 1991 marked the continuation of efforts to reach a peaceful resolution. With a concentration on two tracks: negotiations between Israel and the Palestinians and between Arab states, this conference sought to find a peaceful settlement through direct talks. The Security Council Resolutions 242 and 338 served as the foundation for these discussions. The Security Council supported the idea of Israel and Palestine as two nations as a possible means of resolving the issue in 2002. In the same year, the Arab League adopted the Arab Peace Initiative, which provided a comprehensive strategy for ending the situation. The United States, the European Union, Russia, and the United Nations together produced a roadmap towards a two-state solution in 2003. Furthermore, prominent Israelis and Palestinians pushed an unofficial Geneva Peace Accord in 2003. The Annapolis procedure was pursued in 2007 and 2008, but no permanent status agreement was reached. When things got worse in the latter part of 2008, Israel launched the Cast Lead Ground campaign in Gaza, which sparked Resolution 1860 by the UN Security Council. The United Nations gave Palestine non-member observer state status on November 29, 2012, which was a major step toward international recognition. In an additional demonstration of the continued concern for the rights and welfare of the Palestinian people, the General Assembly declared 2014 to be the International Year of Solidarity with the Palestinian people. The UN Security Council addressed Israeli settlements in its 2016 adoption of Resolution 2334. This resolution demanded an end to Israeli settlements in the occupied areas and reiterated the position of the international community against them. A fair and long-lasting peace in the area is the goal of several international initiatives, but the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is still a complicated and continuing problem. Decisions. With extensive historical, political, and religious origins, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a complicated and ongoing problem. The resolutions that have been put forth pertain to the realism philosophical perspective. There isn't a single, universally applicable answer, although over time, many strategies and ideas have been proposed to address the issue. Here are a few potential strategies for resolving disputes. The two-state solution calls for the establishment of an autonomous Palestinian state coexisting with the State of Israel, with borders decided upon in accordance with the pre-1967 borders, perhaps with land swaps. The international world has largely endorsed this idea, which has served as the foundation for many peace talks. One-state solution. This strategy advocates for the establishment of a single, binational state with equal rights and representation for Israelis and Palestinians. It would necessitate resolving issues with minority rights protection, political power dynamics, and demographics. Due to substantial obstacles arising from historical hostilities and divergent national ambitions, this approach is viewed as less practical. Confederation or federation. According to this concept, a confederation or federation should be established that would provide both Israelis and Palestinians a great deal of autonomy within a single governmental system. In order to handle shared concerns while preserving distinct national identities, it would need shared governance structures, cooperative institutions, and cooperative decision-making methods. Regional approach. Some contend that a more comprehensive regional strategy engaging nearby Arab nations is necessary to resolve the Israeli-Palestinian issue. Comprehensive peace agreements, mutual economic assistance, and the rapprochement between Israel with the Arab world are some examples of this strategy. A start in this direction was taken with the 2020 Abraham Accords, which established diplomatic ties between Israel and a number of Arab nations. Incremental conflict management. This strategy concentrates on managing the conflict through steps that increase Palestinians' sense of confidence, minor accords, and better living circumstances rather than looking for a comprehensive solution. The intention is to gradually ease tensions and foster an atmosphere that will allow for more talks. International intervention. Talk, negotiations, and the execution of a settlement can all be greatly aided by the increased engagement and mediation of the international community, including regional and global powers. Initiatives from the US, the EU, the UN, and other interested parties may fall under this category. It is crucial to remember that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is extremely complicated, and that any settlement calls for sincere dedication on the part of both sides, concessions, and tackling the fundamental problems that have driven the conflict for many years. The road to peace will probably include a mix of the aforementioned strategies, as well as creative thinking and adjustments to local conditions.